Ever feel like you're swimming against the current?
Yeah.
Like you're paddling with all your might, but going nowhere fast.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's like you're putting in all this effort, but not really getting the results you want.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, the power of intention. We've got some really interesting excerpts from the D's Books episode about Wayne Dyer's The Power of Intention.
And let me tell you, this book, it really goes beyond just setting goals. It's about tapping into something much bigger.
It's like Kasimba, the host of D's Books, said, imagine trying to tune your radio right. You're searching for your favorite station, but all you hear is static. You know the signal's out there, but you're just not quite on the right frequency.
Oh, I like that analogy.
It's so true. And Dyer says that's what it's like with intention. It's a universal energy. It's always there. We just need to learn how to tune in.
It's not about pushing or forcing. It's about aligning yourself with that energy.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we go from like struggling to surfing when it comes to our intentions?
Right.
Because Kasimba, he was hilarious, but he also made this really good point about how we often try to muscle our way through life instead of tapping into this flow.
He really did. And Dyer would say one of the biggest blocks to tapping into that flow is, you guessed it, our old friend, the ego.
7 phases of intention. It sounds kind of mystical, doesn't it?
It does have a ring to it, like some ancient secret.
Right. But when Kasimba explained them, it's like, oh, this is actually really practical stuff.
It is, very much so. It's like Dyer took this huge concept intention on a universal scale and broke it down into these 7 qualities we can actually, cultivate in ourselves.
Totally. And I like how he pointed out, not all 7 are going to resonate with every single person the same way, right?
Exactly. It's about finding the ones that really speak to you. Maybe the ones that even make you a little nervous because they feel like, ooh, I need to work on that. That's a good sign.
So true.
Yeah.
So from the excerpts you picked, which ones stood out most to you?
Well, since we've been talking about aligning with this energy, moving from struggle to flow, I think creativity and receptivity are particularly interesting.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, I see how those two would be key. Tell me more.
So receptivity, think about it. When you're trying to force something, you're coming from a place of lack. Yeah, like you don't have it yet. Receptivity is about shifting that, being open to receiving. It's almost like creating space for the universe to deliver.
That makes me think of like when you're trying too hard to catch a ball, you tense up and miss it completely. But if you relax, open your hands, be present, you're way more likely to catch it.
Exactly. And that's where creativity comes in. Kasimba actually uses a really great analogy in the podcast about a jazz musician. They don't force the music, right? They listen, they feel the rhythm, and then they express what wants to come through in that moment. And it's the same with tapping into your own creativity. It's about being receptive to what's inspiring you and then channeling that energy into your own unique expression.
It's not about wishing things were different. It's about becoming a vibrational match for what you want to call in. So we're not just like passively waiting around for things to happen, right? We're actively creating with the universe. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a partnership. Remember that analogy Kasimba used about the gardener planting the seeds?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We're the gardeners of our own lives. We choose what we want to grow. Those are our intentions, and we plant those seeds. But then we have to trust that the universe, nature, will do its thing and help those seeds grow.
You can't control everything. It's more about like surrendering to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Which I guess is why letting go of the ego is so important. Like you can't force a flower to bloom, right?
Exactly. And trying to control every little thing, that just holds us back. It blocks the very thing we're trying to create. Dyer talks about that a lot.
Okay, so how do we work with that ego then? Because mine, let me tell you, it can be a real pain in the church.
I hear you.
It's like a toddler who wants all the toys.
Perfect analogy.
Yep.
And it's not about shutting the ego down completely. It's more like teaching it to share. Acknowledge those fears, those doubts, that's fine, but don't let them run the show. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't, or what if this doesn't work, that's your cue. Gently shift your thinking. Remind yourself you're not in this alone, you've got the universe on your side.
It's a constant dance, isn't it? Setting intentions, taking action, and then, like you said, surrendering to the process, trusting that it's all unfolding as it should.
Beautifully said. And you know what I love about Dyer's work is that it's so empowering. We're not just victims of circumstance. We have this incredible power to shape our own reality. We can tap into that universal energy, cultivate those faces of intention, and create a life that's truly aligned with what we desire.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the power of intention, I'll leave you with this. What incredible dreams would you dare to plant, knowing that you have the power to make them a reality? Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. I'll see you next time.